Says the man who shaves his chest, of course.
I don't shave, I use hair removal cream. Very exciting, guys. Welcome to the very first episode of what is now called the White Wolf Podcast. Still trying to come up with a name, so if anyone can think of anything, let us know. Comment below. This is going to be basically like a free form chat, a wee bit of banter. And what we're going to try and do every week is get one of the members on the podcast and use this as a means to just kind of get to know them a wee bit better, and chat a wee bit about what some of the guys are up to, even outside the gym. It doesn't have to be sporting related or CrossFit related. So we're going to start today with no special guests on today, just Benjj.
Some say it's a wee bit special.
Just as a start, we're going to dive in here as a wee icebreaker, and I'm going to ask the three of you guys a few quick fire questions.
Can I go last? Because I haven't thought of any answers yet. So
Grant, you can go last. The less you think about your answer, the better. So quick fire. I don't even know the question.
I don't
No, none of you know. No.
This one, okay.
We'll start with Benjj,
What?
and we'll work our way around. Benjj, favourite CrossFitter?
Which one?
Andy. Don't think.
You're thinking.
Just that.
No, I have the person in my head. I just can't remember his name. Lucas
We
Parker.
don't know what's no Wilson.
Lucas Parker.
No, Olsen. Anybody but Olsen.
Brent Fikowski. What about you?
I would have said probably Lucas Parker as well.
Why?
Just the beard and his general attitude. He reminds me of Zach Galifianakis.
The way he does, just the way he acts. I like him because he's a big hairy beast, and the rest of them are all
He doesn't care.
Shaved chest.
shaved.
Okay.
And
Says the man who shaves his chest, of course.
I don't shave. I use hair removal cream.
Much more manly.
But only on holidays. Not over the winter.
No,
Nice.
Lucas Parker is cool actually, because I picked Brent Fikowski because he's nicknamed like the professor. He's really thoughtful, strategic in his workouts and all, but Lucas Parker is quite like that too. I would say apart from Fikowski, he's probably the most like that. Like really, really strategic and like timing everything, strategies for recovery, even his own training and stuff. He puts out some good YouTube videos of like his training and thought process behind what he's working on. So he's quite a good one that way too.
Was he in the games last year?
No, he wasn't.
No. Didn't qualify or injury?
Something happened maybe that he didn't qualify. I can't remember what it was. No, I can't remember, but yeah, there was something.
He doesn't seem to be as
No, I
on
haven't
the
seen
scene
him much.
as he used to be. You know, back when, that was when we first opened our gym about 5 years ago. He was one of the main dudes. Like,
Made a poster.
But he does have good longevity. Like he's been at high level in the sport for how long? Like 6, 7, 8 years. It's good.
good at the ollie lifting too.
He probably would have applied pretty quickly though this year. Just because he is very good at the other lifting and maybe not the other stuff, and you've seen even people like Fikowski get it pretty quickly this year. Yeah. But then
Maybe.
Yeah,
Very good. Right, worst workout you've ever done, Benjj?
probably. I can't
Still a
even
load of
remember.
coffee beans in my mouth.
It was Andy's job to make the coffee today. It hasn't
Ah,
gone down too well.
I don't know. Worst workout. I haven't done one that's really bad in a long time. But like, I think the worst one, it probably whenever you first started doing things. I remember there's a couple. I remember one day doing 24 with Andy McLucas, and I thought I was going to die. Like, that was it.
remember that.
It was horrendous. And it's
explain what 24 is.
24, 4 rounds time. What is it? Thrusters, wall balls, box burpees, and something else.
Phillips. Yeah.
Pull-ups, and then it's on the benchmarks, and you do it under 20.
24 minute time
Time
cap.
Is that one you made up? As a benchmark, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good
That
one.
was probably one of the original benchmarks.
One of the very
Yeah.
first. Yeah.
I really want to do it again now. Like,
Yeah.
I'd said to do it with Stuart.
Mm.
At some point, like, we just haven't got around to it because then we did return the chipper for my birthday. Try and knock you boys out of that leaderboard.
You got to, didn't you?
Yeah, by like a minute and a half, 2 minutes.
Johnny Mort, if you're
So fit
listening.
right now. So fit right now.
I'll try again.
Yeah, but 24. I'd like to do it again because I remember it putting me in the, like it was just sending me into oblivion. Like, it was horrendous. It really was bad. That, or there was a squat workout. I remember doing a front squat workout in the old gym, and like I couldn't move my legs. Like my legs cramped. I'd never experienced it before. Like my whole like quads just seized up. It was horrendous. It was just like high volume squats and rowing or something. But I think you had to only do like max effort, 4 sets, something like that. And it was brutal. That was pretty stinky.
Andy, any ideas?
For me, two come to mind. One's cliche, Fran. It's so short, but especially for me, so
We
short.
just naming all of them. Oh, we just
Yeah,
name
they
all the
all
ones that
want
we done
one.
perfect at. We hold records on. it's just that's all it is. Dave's
never-
first workout that I clean jerked 155 kilos. Did you know that?
Did I do it?
It's because for the whole rest of my day was a write-off. It was just awful. I had Fran lung, my legs were jelly. I couldn't think. I couldn't eat because it would throw it up again for the rest of the day. Like,
You use that excuse now for workouts as well.
There's still a video of that performance knocking about, isn't it?
Oh, we should watch it
Better.
and review it.
It's on the White Wolf Facebook page. So,
I reckon I could beat that now. Like,
There you go.
because I wouldn't
Public
consider
declaration
myself
by
particularly fit back then. Like. I
And
was
you do right?
powerlifting. I was powerlifting so much.
That'll carry
It's
you
true.
through the thrusters as well.
That was all just leg strength that got me through that. Anyway, and the next one, open last year, was it 19.4 or 0.3 chest to bar and thruster? Was it? What was that? 27, 20,
33, 27, something
Was
like
it?
that. Yeah, pretty
21.
Sure it was a big, but it was a lot. 21.
What is it?
15, 9.
what one was it?
18 was there
It
not?
was a big
It
stinking
was the last workout of
The
last year's open.
descending
19.5.
We all did it out there in the line.
thruster chest to bar.
But you did
Just
well, didn't
thrusters and chest to bar, yeah.
Yeah, but I can't remember the
20-minute
rep
cap.
range.
Yeah, and it was like, I think it was down 3, like maybe 5.
I think it was it start at 27?
Maybe it was.
And went
27.
down in increments of 3.
It was
Yeah,
basically
24,
it
21.
was more reps than
18.
2 Frans back to
Yeah.
back,
Yeah.
and they were all chest to bar instead of regular pull-ups.
It was horrendous, that, wasn't
I forgot about that one.
Those 2 for
it?
sure.
And Big Ben came in and did it in like 15 minutes or something stupid.
Yeah.
Kept him the entire time.
That's right.
Glass, alright, no worries. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Knowles?
I'd probably say sort of similar to Benjj. One of the ones like that was 1 rep max clean and jerk. No. The couple of ones that were like similar, like high volume squatting, and then just quads blowing up, cramping, but you're going for it. So I think was it years ago we were the thorium one. Yes,
That's my number one.
is that your one? Yeah. So back at the old gym. Can you remember the workout? There was 2 parts, I think.
Yeah. So it started off, it was alternating minutes. So it was a partner workout. I would go
Yeah.
for a minute and do as many air squats as I could. Then Dave would go for a minute, do as many air squats. Then I would go again, do as many air squats in a minute. Dave would go do as many air squats in a minute. Then it was 1 minute max effort total bar. Then Dave would do 1 minute max effort total bar. You then had 6 minutes alternating, so 3 rounds each of max effort squat cleans where you chose your own weight. And then your score was your weight output. So I think we went 60 kilo initially and then repeated it and did 50 kilo. And we're doing 8 or 9 reps in a minute.
It's more than that.
More,
It
was
was
it?
more than that, right? I
think
I
we
remember
actually-
the first minute being like 14
Really? Okay.
from the squat things.
So yeah, by far and away, I've never done a workout where I physically couldn't move for at least half an hour afterwards.
That's like a leg pain similar to what's the open WOD that's come up twice with squat cleans.
Some
Yeah.
16.2,
Yeah.
16.2 max
Yeah,
effort.
I was literally thinking about that.
Yeah.
Just when you were hearing
That
about
pure
that.
leg pain.
That really,
Well,
I didn't
yeah,
pass out
actually-
in that. Stuart, Mitchell was judging me last year and after the 80 kilo squat, and I was on the like the toes bars again. And then like the next one was like 100 and something, and like I just got through with like 10 seconds to spare, and like I went to do the toaster bar, and I just sort of wandered over to the bar and was like, I think I'm gonna pass out. And Stuart was like, you're not, you'll be fine. And afterwards he tells me you were as white as a ghost. It was just like horrendous.
That is a hateful workout, that one.
Yeah.
Because the legs being such a big muscle group, when they're totally shafted, like your whole body's just
Mm-hmm.
Feeling the pain.
you're
I
like
mean, I don't have it.
shocked. That's when we were
We
experimented with.
Do you know what I mean?
Remember we were taking a bit of sodium bicarbonate to try and adjust the
Tell us
pH
that story,
levels,
Andy.
the blood pH levels.
Mhm.
Theory behind it is, in terms of like your lactate threshold, if you take a bit of sodium bicarb before, it's going to improve that, like an acute response. But I ended up,
Acute response.
yeah, like a short term.
Did it make you feel cute, like, or what?
I wasn't cute when I was throwing up blood in the bathroom about 10 minutes later.
You were throwing up blood? From what?
It must have like burnt my throat or something.
Yeah, you like it was sort of got stuck halfway down your throat kind of thing.
Yeah. Anyone who's tried to drink that, it's the most stinking drink. You were down it no problem. It was horrible. I was sipping on it, but it must have burnt my throat or something. And then tried the workout.
Did you barf blood?
I didn't barf blood, no, but it was about half an hour in the toilet after.
Oh wow.
Yeah, go straight through. It's not worth it. Don't try it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you got it right, like
You get
I
the
also
dose
took
right.
too much, or
Did you just chuck a bit in and then pour the water over? Is that what you
took,
did?
like a
Oh,
teaspoon,
yeah.
filtered it slowly. Used an apple teaspoon.
Yeah.
So it was-
So yeah, this quickfire is going well.
That's good. That's
Question 3. Your favourite city in the world?
Lisbon. There you go.
Is that a city?
I'm trying to think of cities I've been to. You go, Paul.
Probably Paris. Been
Very.
can't remember how many times, but I've been
Got
a
engaged there as well?
number of times. I did not get engaged there, no. Got
Rome,
engaged in Rome, yeah. But then we went to Paris straight after, I think, or maybe not. Who knows? But yeah, I've been a number of times, and sort of sometimes there's cities that you go once and you enjoy it, but you think don't want to go back there. But I think every time we went back to Paris, I've sort of enjoyed it more and think, oh, this class. Even if you're not maybe doing the regular sightseeing or whatever, you just enjoy the atmosphere and the feeling and stuff. And there is some really obviously cool things to see as well, like the what do you call it? The catacombs. Thought that was amazing.
Is that where all
I
the
watched
skulls are
Yes.
down below?
Yeah.
There's a good horror movie about that. It's called
Catacombs?
As Above, So Below or something.
Yeah.
You seen it?
I wouldn't watch it. Scar mainstream.
Is that where they go into hell to find a hole that takes them into hell?
Portal to Hell, yeah.
Oh yeah, class. Oh yeah, that's one to watch. Yeah, sweet lad. Yeah.
Like the catacombs was class, like, because it was just like literally before we went to it, we stopped and had a coffee at some wee nice coffee shop, walked across the road down a wee tunnel, and next thing there's skulls like as wide as this room, deep for like I don't know how long it is, like, but for quite a long tunnel. And it's just like crazy that the contrast. You know, just below the surface you have this.
What's the story with that? Is that people died in the plague or something, or what?
Yeah, I think it was
There's
stuff
just
like
nowhere to
that.
put the bodies, so
Yeah, maybe to prevent it spreading, or just because they don't have room for graveyards all over the big urban city, you know. So
Some weirdo just leaving it away.
maybe,
Just thought it'd make a nice destination.
yeah.
caught on. Happy years. Benador?
Been there many times now. I never want to see Benidorm again. Although there's talk of going in December.
Is that why you posted that link half a week ago saying let's go on the cinema?
It was half banter, half serious, and everyone's caught on there. But no, I don't think I'll go.
Yeah, right.
I'll just mention somewhere class had been Amsterdam. Really want to go back there. Not for the reasons everyone's thinking, but it's just a really nice place. All the wee canals and bridges and it's just a
And
nice
brownies. Really nice brownies.
Really nice chocolate brownie. Okay, what's next on your to-do list, Benji?
Or in life or what?
Well,
Bucket list, to-do list.
His answer was Lisbon? Okay. I assume that was a joke.
Well, it is and it isn't, but yeah, whatever. I don't travel enough to think, but next on my to-do list, what's next on my to-do list? I don't even know. I don't have my to-do list in front of me, so I couldn't tell you. You know, so
websites.
websites, yeah. Some work to do, some stuff for my my work or my website stuff, get it going, and a bit of marketing, a bit of programming for gymnastics for the next few while. That's today. I'm going to do that this weekend. I keep saying I'm going to program, but then like I always put it off. But I need to I want to try and get a big long, like sort of weeks and weeks and weeks done in advance, you know, for people, because there's quite a few people won't pull up.
A lot of folks getting their ring muscle ups now as well.
Yeah, I would like 4 or 5.
All coming on.
Yeah, it's good. And gymnastics, so class. So that's
So-
it. Program with that.
Sweet.
Yeah, I think it's nice with programming as well. If you can explain,
Yeah, what
you know, here's our next block, here's your purpose. It's good for retention as well with people, because then they're the fear of missing out a week and losing out on the progress and stuff.
Yeah.
But for me, probably with our crisp business, getting the new packaging. So we've upgraded some machinery for that. And we have probably about 28,000 bags that are now no longer compatible with our old machine. Traditionally,
Saga
that's how
continues.
that goes for us. But
Wow.
so we're waiting on new packaging to arrive, which will significantly up the productivity. That's the big thing for me when that gets here. I'll be happy, hopefully before Christmas. But see.
Cool, Dave.
Probably changing nappy. It's probably next on my to-do list.
For anyone who doesn't know Dave's wife just had a baby, Vicky.
You're changing Vicky's nappy.
Savers don't make jokes about that. Yeah, so it's been pretty hectic the last week and a half or so with the baby, obviously, so it's taken up so much time, in a good way, and obviously Vicky's taken even more time. She's doing really well with breastfeeding and stuff, so not much sleep for her, but it's hard to keep in a sort of normal routine in terms of activities. So between looking after Yuri and looking after Sophie at home, you're like trying to get something done. You think, right, I'm at home today, we'll go for X, Y, Z on the to-do list, and it's just nightmare. You don't get sitting down for any longer than like 30 seconds before you have to let Yuri out or you have to attend to a baby and stuff like this, you know. But yeah, obviously Vicky's really taking the brunt of the work on that. So yeah, I'm just getting my head sorted with the baby, trying to get into routine really in terms of to-do list. I'm trying to figure out how this big life change works in, you know. Get back in a normal schedule.
Right, moving on.
That.
So this next part of our podcast is going to be something we're going to include in each podcast. We've labelled it in other news, so it's going to be a quick roundup of anything that we find interesting. Maybe a CrossFit story, maybe sporting related, can be anything weird and wonderful. In the gym, outside the gym, whatever it is. And we're going to just blast through those really quickly. The very first thing I wanted to mention was James Newbury's recent injury. So if you haven't heard about that, James Newbury is an Australian, am I right? Australian?
Yeah.
CrossFit athlete. He finished 5th, I think, at the games last year. So he's a fellow with the long hair. Does he dreadlocks?
Dreadlocks.
Yeah. So he was a pretty good character at the games. I suppose he stands out with his dreadlocks, but everyone kind of took a liking to him. I think he had a bit of quite a ballsy attitude as well in one of the workouts, especially. He just kind of emptied the tank.
Final, was it?
Yeah.
In the assault bike.
Which was really good for the crowd to see. He kind of knew he was just going to sacrifice himself pretty much because there's a part A and a part B. But that kind of gained him a lot of fans, I think, in the CrossFit world. So it's really unfortunate to hear that he's just recently broke a couple of bones in his back. He was downhill mountain biking and he came around.
Punctured his lung as well.
Punctured a lung as well, yeah. So
Sounds rough, like.
came around the corner, slipped a bit of gravel, flew over the handlebars, hit a tree upside down apparently. So
It's always the flipping downhill mountain bikers as well, isn't it?
There's
Who
like
do you
what?
know who downhill mountain bikes who hasn't wrecked themselves at some stage? We folk in here in the gym even.
Paul Carville, nasty injury.
Yeah.
Nick,
Darn.
Darren does downhill mountain biking.
Well,
Yeah.
used to, yeah. They carry on too, I think. Yeah.
So he's got to make a full recovery apparently, but I think that's him out for the season.
He was also going to be at Filthy 150 as well, so he was, which is unfortunate that we don't get to see him.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my story. Andy, what do you got for us?
Cool story.
Go through.
Did I even get a story?
You did. You told me on the other story. What was it?
Ping pong?
I don't know.
No stories.
Something
No.
about the Indian fella, no?
Yes, that's what you said.
The way this is
No,
framed
that
to
wasn't like
me-
a news around the world
I
news
know.
story. It's not recent.
the way this is ruined to me, I never laughed so hard in my life. Like Dolly just said, he's got some story about some Indian man with no legs doing something, and I just
Doing something
Perfect.
of note.
just doing something.
No,
It's
that was
To achieve something.
That was an inspirational
Jeez.
story, but it wasn't a recent story.
okay.
Um,
So yeah, the one thing Andy was asked to prepare and he hasn't done.
yeah, no.
Benjj, you got something?
Yeah, I was talking about Simone Biles the other day. Is gymnast, for anybody who doesn't know. But she just won she's like the most decorated female gymnast in history. She just got 25 championships, like medals at championships, and I'm not sure if they're all gold.
World
like,
Championships, is it?
Yeah, and like just 22. Like what? And then she also, in the last time she competed there, so a few weeks ago, I think, she like she landed some like triple twisting off the high beam. But then on her floor routine is the only female to land a triple double, which is like a triple twist with a double flip in it. And it's just like, it is actually ridiculous like how she does it. It's just the only female to ever do it. And like to land it successfully, and whether that be in training or not, you know what I mean? But in actual,
They had a bouncy floor that helps, like,
yeah, but I mean, like, you see...
Can't you do it in stall mats on a Tuesday morning or something?
Well, that's fair. Like, how high she can get though is outrageous. Like, it's absolutely bananas. Like, if you watch the slow-mo, like, of how she does it, you have to watch it in slow-mo just to appreciate how many, like, turns and flips she does. I mean, it is only 3 and 2, but, like, you can actually see it. She moves that quick. It's bananas. But, just amazing.
You really have to respect like Olympic athletes.
Oh.
See with like even the 4-year gap.
Yeah.
It's say she's training for that in like year 1 into her, 4-year cycle, and she gets that move, and
yeah,
you obviously have other comps coming up and stuff, but like the Olympics is like the big one. And so she has then like this in her head. She's thinking, right, it's 3 years now until I can give this to the world on that biggest stage, type thing. Like that takes a lot of like mental strength, I think, to go through those cycles.
But what you might find with that is, because she's now done it, the world now knows it's possible. So you might get a couple of others in the next 4 years who then do it. But like the sub 4 minute mile time. Is it something like 30 college students have now run a mile in under 4 minutes? Maybe way more than that.
I think it was like
Teenagers
30 like in the year or two afterwards. Now like any high school athlete can do it. Kind of thing in America, high level high school athlete.
And I remember like watching another sport, motocross, when they did the first backflip.
Yeah.
Who was it? Was it that crazy one, the real famous one? He skydived from Travis Pastrana, maybe. Don't really know much about motocross, but once the first person did it, the whole sea of people then it became possible, and it's now they're doing the warm up type thing. Everyone does it. It's funny how that kind of works. Same even like on a smaller scale in the gym with us. If one of us hits a benchmark, or even with me and you, it's been that way always with weightlifting and things. If someone hits a squat PR, a couple of weeks later the other one usually. So whatever it does to your mind kind of opens up the possibility of it.
I remember being the first of the lads to squat 160 back in the garage.
That's right.
It's all downhill after that.
That was the peak.
Dislocated my coccyx. True story.
What were we doing to your coccyx?
I was back squatting 60 kilos the day before we opened White Wolf 5 years
Not
ago.
a clean.
No, it was just a 60 kilo back squat.
Was that the day before we opened?
The day before the gym opened, just heard a pop. Didn't know what I'd done obviously, but couldn't walk for 2 days. So when I finally got it x-rayed, the bones, you have the lower curve at the back, the coccyx curls around a wee bit, but mine's just true north like, so it still is that way. At the time I remember it was Gilly Carson Chapman, and he's like, listen, we can either get in there and fix this thing, or else you can leave it and you'll probably be fine. So I left it.
I'm sure you did.
And, lower back issues ever since.
Okay.
So you wish you'd done it differently.
There we go.
There we go. You had James Newbury, so it's my story. So we're all pigeonholing ourselves here. Benjj talking about gymnastics, and I'm going to talk about weightlifting. But it was the World Championships in weightlifting recently, and there's really the world's best ever super heavyweight, a Georgian lad by the name of Lasha Talahadze. So he's super heavyweight, that absolute highest weight category. So there's no upper limit to his body weight. He's about 160, 170 kilos, something like that. But he put out the biggest total ever. So he went 6 out of 6, which is also amazing. But he snatched a new world record 220 kilos,
That's ridiculous.
which is insane. Obviously, it's just insane in general, but especially if you think, what any one of us can like deadlift or whatever.
I can't. I can barely roll that across the floor.
I've never deadlifted 220, so I can't even pick it up to my foot and knees, never mind throw it over my head like it's nothing, like he does. And then he also, on the clean and jerk, did what's a current world record. It's actually slightly below what they did maybe decades ago. So the absolute world record of all time is 266. He did 264, which gave him the highest total ever.
Is that just comp, or has he done more in training? Or?
There's rumours that he's done more in training, but there's never been video of it. But like in the training hall before he did this, he did like 210 kilos for like almost a double. He did it and sort of walked the other side of the room, touched the wall, walked back and did 210 again. And the both, it's incredible. We'll link maybe to Simone Biles and also to Lasha, these performances so guys can see it. But like it just looks effortless for him, it's amazing. Like nobody's touching him in terms of competition. There's the guy who's in like second place is a guy called Gabor, I think is his surname. And his numbers are unbelievable. And if he was at any other time in weightlifting history, when that shit wasn't about, he would be like incredible. But hardly anyone knows who he is, no one cares about him because Lasha comes out and just like follows himself, hits world records and makes it look easy.
What age is he?
Lasha?
Yeah,
I think he's sort of like mid to late 20s. But he makes it look absolutely effortless, so it's amazing, like beautiful technique as well as hits the world record and hits the best numbers that we've ever seen from him on the platform, but it looks easy. So there's like, everyone always sees it and thinks, what is his actual limits, what's the potential, because for so long what he's been doing is just sort of adding a wee bit to like a snatch for a while, and then now the clean and jerk, just to keep bumping up the world record total for himself. So he's doing that, doing 6 out of 6, making it all look easy. So it's like, what can he actually do? So like,
that's the thing. Will he burn himself out because no one's chasing him? If he knows he's going in to win, are you missing out on that competitive edge? That
I was gonna say it probably takes a bit of like a different mindset, or like how to like.
It's got to be difficult.
I was talking to I can't remember, it was with Chloe actually out there earlier about not weightlifting. And I was like, I can't really be bothered because like there's no, like what drives me is like competitiveness, do you know what I mean? I love like trying to beat that, but I think it would be really difficult just trying to only beat yourself, and it's why I like the Open so much, because you're like, you get to see, oh, I'm there, and you see people in the country and you're like, oh frig, I've competed against him, where am I against him now, and that kind of thing, whereas you're chasing other people. But if you're up there on your own, like
that's it.
The mindset must be quite different, obviously,
He's chasing his own performance, he's chasing the world records, and that's another aspect of why it's so impressive what he's doing, because he's, I'm not sure if he did it on all his lifts, but definitely the clean and jerks, I think, he's following himself as well, so he's only getting 2 minutes rest each time, but just unbelievable, because sometimes maybe the super heavyweights are a bit more guilty of this than other weight classes as well. Not the prettiest technique, maybe just because their body size and proportions makes it a wee bit harder to have as nice technique, and also they're just so strong that they sort of brute force through it, but he's not like that. He's obviously, he is probably the strongest man who's ever lived, but he also has beautiful technique at the same time, so it's unbelievable just to watch. Like, it is really, in terms of weightlifting history, really historic kind of thing, so it's amazing.
Awesome. Wow. Cool. Good story. Cheers. So yeah, we're going to introduce what we're just going to call the White Wolf Library. It's going to be exactly what it sounds like. It's going to be a library of books that we're going to have upstairs. The books are going to be available for any of our members to check out and to read. During these podcasts, we're going to do a book review every time. That book will then be available for you guys to check out if anyone's interested. Are you going to do a book review for us for this one?
I left the book at home. What?
No. What's everybody reading at the minute?
Well, I'm out of this question already because I don't read anything, so I'm really bad at that. It's not something I'm good at.
You'd be an article reading shorter.
Yeah, or podcasts.
Podcasts.
I just listen. Maybe an audiobook, but like podcasts are usually what I would listen to. I listen to probably 30, 40 hours of podcasts a week. But like, I'm not a reader. I can sit still very much. This is the longest I've sat still for. It's not I just don't really do it. It's something I need to work on and get better at, but so I just don't have the attention span, and it's really good. I haven't found that yet, so but maybe I will.
You will now. It's like,
you guys, any?
yeah, I usually have a number of books going on at the same time, which maybe isn't the best idea, but at the minute I'm reading the comedian Kevin Hart, an autobiography of his called I Can't Make This Up or something like that, and it's just like his life story, obviously, but he's like sprinkled in wee life lessons he's learned along the way, and it was actually a recommendation by a fitness guy, Eugene Teo, guy whose seminar I went to earlier in the year. He's like a sort of bodybuilding rehab type coach, and he recommended it very highly. He said like whatever it was like his top 5 or top 10 books that he recommends to people. It was up there. Maybe about halfway through so far. Really good, interesting story so far, but also good wee life lessons, just about what he's learned and perspectives taken in terms of hard work and his family upbringing and stuff. So like his dad was like a drug addict and stuff like that, so his mom sort of raised him, and she was like quite strict with him, because she wanted the best for him and stuff like this. So it's all sort of like wee lessons he's learned where he was then maybe going out in his own because he was starting to try and make it as a comedian and stuff like this, and how he dealt with his dad, because his dad robbed their house and stuff like this, and like robbed his brothers, and he started like a barber shop and stuff, and then his dad like robbed the barber shop and crazy stuff like this. But it's really good. And then another one that I'm reading at the minute is from a doctor called Gabor Mate. Must be French origin or whatever. And it's called When the Body Says No. So it's about like the impact that stress and like emotional stress and stuff like that, the impact that can have on illness and health in general. So he was let's say he's a doctor, but he also like worked in like palliative care for like 20 years someplace. So it's all about like he saw different like sort of personality types and maybe like relationships or situations, like, so he would say, I can't remember specific examples, I don't want to half make it up and get it wrong, but like maybe like someone who had like a very dependent relationship with their mother or something like that, and saw that in cases of breast cancer, seems to have a lot of these people have these like underlying personality traits and stuff, and there's like different ones for different illnesses that he's seen, and he goes through lots of different examples of this, and also looking at different research in terms of what could be like the physiological basis for this. So the chapter that I read most recently was talking about like gut issues and stuff, so it's all about the gut-brain relationship and stuff, and how like emotional stress then comes into inflammation in the gut, which then affects like conditions like IBS and Crohn's disease and stuff like this. And it's amazing like some of the statistics in terms of like the number of people who have whatever it is, X personality trait, who are affected by this condition. It's like unbelievable. So you're sort of looking at it a wee bit differently than maybe typical medicine would be looking for, just like physiological markers, right?
Yeah.
You're low on whatever, your inflammation levels here, or cholesterol, whatever it happens to be, but he is looking at that, but he's looking at how your life, your relationships, your emotional context is affecting all those things, which is fascinating, and also sort of makes you really think, if you want to be truly healthy, you need to have good relationships, you know.
Yeah.
So you need to have, you know, be happy in your family life, in your social network, and also not have any maybe, like a lot of the people that he's talking about would have these, like, as I say, they're like a dependent relationship or something like that, where they're like not looking after themselves because they're too focused on, you know, trying to please someone else and stuff like that, you know. But all those people wouldn't realise that they're doing that, you know. It's like a behaviour that they've had their whole life, and then it's only like he sort of noticed it, or he talked to them, almost like counselling type thing, and brought it to light. You know, look at what you've been doing here, you know. And they're like, flip, right enough, you know. So it's interesting, very, very interesting. I think he's, you know, he's very, very famous, the book. I think he's done like some really famous like TED Talks or whatever on it as well. So again, we can maybe add a wee TED Talk of that to the show notes.
I'll fire those in the link.
Gabor Mate.
How would that
He's written a few other ones, like one maybe on addiction or something as well. I think a book on addiction that's quite famous.
Sounds very
And
interesting.
yeah, it's absolutely fascinating.
You're still reading those at the minute?
I'm like halfway through both of those, yeah.
We'll get those in the library then, as soon as Dave is finished. I just finished a book there by a fella called John Kim, an American guy. The book is called I Used to Be a Miserable Blank, Fill in the Gaps. It's basically about how he phrases it as transitioning from a boy to a man. So he went through a lot, really, you know, like a divorce and things, which kind of changed his perspective on life. And it's written in kind of very short paragraphs, what he refers to as shot glasses. So there's like 60 or 65 shot glasses, and they're all just little life tips that he's learned over the past few years and how he's kind of changed his perspective on things, whether it's, you know, living with your head in the clouds pretty much. He was someone who wasn't like very present. He was always thinking about the future. He was a screenwriter pretty much, and he was always chasing this Hollywood script, always thought he was going to get it. But while he was doing that, he was neglecting his relationship with his wife and his friends and different things. So it's interesting just kind of him chatting about his journey and up to where he is now. He's an incredibly happy guy, really fulfilled, and has a really good career in, you know, like therapy. He helps people with therapy. So it's an interesting read. You'll probably get through it pretty quickly.
So what's your biggest takeaway from it then, would you say?
It sounds silly, but the biggest thing that I have taken from it is just making my bed every morning. That was, he literally wrote a chapter on it. I know there's
Jordan Peterson as well.
Jordan Peterson will tell about
Famous commencement speech by a Navy guy who
Yes,
talks about that. Yeah.
Maybe seen that on Facebook, some people, but I had heard that before, but until I read it in this book, I started implementing it. So basically you make your bed, you know, that's your first task of the day ticked off. It also makes the room look a lot neater and tidier, and just kind of preps you for the day then to get going and start ticking off the rest of your list.
I think Tim Ferriss also talks about that a bit. Or he maybe had that commencement speech guy on, but that was it. Another thing when Tim Ferriss was talking about that was that, you know, you get to the end of the day as well, and even if you feel like you've had a bad day where you haven't been productive or whatever, at least you come back and, you know, I've made the bed, I've done that one thing, you know, so it's sort of, you know, mentally satisfying that you've got at least one thing done that day.
It's always nicer getting into bed when it's made as well, like.
For sure.
There we go. Nice one. So yeah, we'll have those books available up in the library upstairs. Anything else to say about that, lads? No? Cool.
If anyone else just has any suggestions that they want to add or that we should check out and read, or if there's any, I don't know, different kinds of books. Like, I mean, we're obviously just picking books that we're interested in, but if anyone wants to hear us talk about a particular book or kind of book, we could maybe do that.
Yeah, sure, definitely let us know. That's pretty much it for today, guys. That's our first podcast episode.
White Wolf News.
White Wolf News. Yeah, news within the gym. We'll finish with that. Obviously, Christmas dinner's coming up. Anyone who's not signed up for that.
Last Saturday in November.
Last Saturday in November, yeah.
30th?
21st or something? Or no?
21st.
It's like one of the last days of November.
24th or something. So it's week after.
The last Saturday in November, the 21st.
No, but something's the 21st. What do we plan for the 21st?
12 days over that weekend.
It's the 29th. The dinner's the 29th, I think.
Yeah. The what's the in-house do now?
2 weeks before the dinner.
16th.
To just
16th.
finish that filthy dinner.
In-house competition, 2 to 2, mixed pairs.
Yeah, we'll get a post up on the members page. Anyone who wants to compete in that, obviously can comment. And go from there.
Christmas lift off. Having a date for that yet? No.
Having a date.
Having a date, but
December.
we'll do that some Friday night. We usually do it, don't we? So
In December.
do that again. Christmas jumpers. Get your Christmas jumpers in there, you know.
Mhm. Cool. Right.
Just want to say just filthy 150 as well. You know. What date did you say it was?
I think it's the 24th.
24th.
Something like that, yeah. It's
Wow.
24th.
Whatever
That
one it is
weekend.
that there. So we've
Yeah, on
obviously yourself, Ben Brackenridge.
Yep. Amy, or not Amy, Zoe Smith and
Carry on.
Carrie Ann Slim.
So that's the team that'll be down. As well as obviously we mentioned earlier, James Newbury would have been there, but there's a lot of X Games level athletes and stuff competing in the individual or elite category, whichever it is. So it'll be it'll be the biggest CrossFit competition in Ireland all year. You know, it's a official sanction.
Dan Bailey, go on.
Dan Bailey's
Dan
going,
Bailey will
Sam
be there.
Briggs is going,
Kristen Holt
Kristen Holday,
Charles.
Thuri Helga daughter, Sam Dancer usually comes to Belfast. It's not officially announced as competing, but he usually comes over.
Chandler Smith.
Chandler Smith.
What's the spectator price?
It's like about
Probably
20,
sold out now,
25
though,
euros, probably sold out.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think the Saturday's going to be busy, like, because the Saturday is just like so the teams of 4, like all of like our teams are competing on Saturday, and then the elites are competing all weekend. So they're competing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we're only just the Saturday, and we're competing. But so I reckon Saturday will be busy.
Yeah.
But I think it's like 25 euros potentially.
Something like that, yeah. I bought tickets for me and Vicky, but for anyone who doesn't know, listen, maybe there used to be regionals. You did the Open, then there's regionals. Regionals qualified you for the games. Now you have sanctionals, which is sanctioned events, sanctioned by CrossFit as official games qualifiers. So this is the first sanctional of the 2020 season, and also the only sanctional within Ireland. So it'll be a great event to be to, like if you want to spectate, if you're sort of maybe looked at regionals in the past and thought that looks cool, this is the closest thing to it these
That's
days.
handy to get to.
Handy to get to.
There's also going to be, I think there's a lot of people going. There's a few people going down with cars. So like if anybody, and they're just coming down on Saturday. So if anybody needs lifts, you know what I mean, wants to share lifts, just like fire it up on the page or something, because so that there's, might as well share a car.
Yeah,
People want to go down,
get started.
get sorted. And,
Super, sounds good. We'll wrap it up there then.
get sorted.
Awesome.
Anyone who's made it this far, thanks for listening.
Indeed.
It's unlikely.
We'll go get a decent coffee.
Reason to.
If you're interested in coming on, having a bit of a chat, also let us know as well. It'd be cool to have you on. And just feedback in general, comment below. We'll hopefully get another one out next week.
Yeah.
Nice one. Cheers.
Cool.
Alright.